Hello again, everyone, and thank you for joining me here on the Noble Crumb. My name is Jason. So it is Halloween, and it's probably my favorite holiday of the year. So I wanted to bring you one of my new Halloween recipes. It is a chocolate fudge brownie, but with a cream cheese topping, and it's in multicolor for Halloween. So there's orange and green and purple. Use whatever colors you like, have fun, get creative with it. But I think you, your family, kids, everybody out there is really going to enjoy it because let's be honest, who doesn't love a real good brownie? And this brownie recipe is something I hesitated on sharing because it is one of the ones that I tend to try to keep this recipe to myself, but give it a try. Let me know what you think because to me it is the perfect brownie that is out there. Let's get to the ingredients. All right, here are the ingredients you're going to need for our Halloween brownies. So we're going to start with the cream cheese layer first. You're going to need 2 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese, 2/3 of a cup of sugar, 2 eggs, and food coloring of your choice. Now moving on to the brownie layer, you're going to need 1 cup of unsalted butter that's been melted and that is still hot, 2 tablespoons of oil, 2 1/4 cups of sugar, 4 eggs, 4 teaspoons of vanilla, 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of cocoa powder, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and 1 cup of chocolate chips, which is completely optional. And we're going to bake this at 350 degrees for 25 to 35 minutes, and I will show you how to tell when it's done. Okay, so we're going to start with the cream cheese topping. So I've got my stand mixer with my paddle attachment. To that, I'm going to add my 2 blocks of cream cheese. And then I'm going to add my 2/3 of a cup of sugar. And we're going to let this cream together for about 2 to 3 minutes. Alright, so after about 3 minutes, it's nice and smooth, and we're just going to scrape this down. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start adding the 2 eggs, but we're just going to do it one at a time and mix till each one is combined. Right, give it a little scrape. Perfect, and then I'm going to add in the second one. And give it another scrape all the way down to the bottom. Make sure you're getting everything off. And then I'm just going to let this mix for another 2 minutes. Alright, so this is nice and smooth. So now I'm going to remove this from the stand mixer and I'm going to divide it into 3 glass measuring cups so that I can color it. Okay, so I've got my cheesecake mixture separated into 3 different measuring cups. So now I'm going to start adding some colors to it. So you can use obviously whatever colors you want, but I want one that's going to be green. So I'm just going to add a few drops at a time. I think I added 4 on this one till I get the desired color I want. That, I'm going to add 1 more drop, but that looks like a nice bright green color, which I love. It's perfect for Halloween. Mix it well. Perfect. So that is my green. That looks great together, so we're going to use that. Okay, so we're going to start with the brownie mix. So I've got my mixing bowl here and a sifter. And to that, we're gonna add our flour and our cocoa powder. And we're just gonna give this a nice sift to make sure that we get any lumps out. And then I'm just gonna add in my salt. And then we're gonna move this off to the side and work on the wet ingredients. Okay, so now we're gonna do the wet ingredients. So I've got my stand mixer with my whisk attachment. To the bowl, I'm gonna add in the melted butter that is still hot. I'm gonna add in the oil. And we're gonna add in the sugar. And we're gonna give this a mix for about just a minute, minute and a half until everything's combined. Okay, so at this point now, we're gonna start adding in our eggs one at a time, just until each one's combined. Okay, all the eggs are combined. We're gonna throw in the vanilla, and I'm gonna put this on a higher speed and let it go for about 2 to 3 minutes until it's really light and fluffy. Okay, so everything is nice, light, and airy right now. So we're gonna add in the dry ingredients. And you're gonna do it in about 3 different parts. So I'm gonna add about 1/3 of this now. And the trick here is not to overmix. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little scrape. Add in another 1/3. And then I'm gonna add in the last bit. Perfect. Give it a quick mix and then I will finish it by hand. Okay, so the bulk of it is mixed in. I'm going to remove this and I'm going to finish this off by hand mixing. Okay, so I've got my mixture here. So now I'm just going to make sure everything is combined and I'm going to finish it by folding it in. All right, so folding this in, scraping the sides, scraping the bottom. Until I don't see any of the dry mixture anymore. So that looks perfect. And then this next part's optional. I'm adding in about a cup of chocolate chips. I've got semi-sweet and dark chocolate in here. So a little variety, but you can omit that if you want. But there's nothing wrong with more chocolate, so. All right, this is nice and mixed, and we're gonna put this in the pan. So just a couple quick notes when making a brownie. First off is do not overmix. That's why I finished mixing by hand to make everything gets incorporated in there. It can add a lot of air, which makes the brownie more cakey and less fudgy. The next thing is making sure you do not over bake them. This isn't like a cake where you're gonna put a toothpick in, it's gonna come out clean. That's not really the optimal kind of texture for a brownie. You want it to be fudgy, thick, luscious, and just completely indulgent. So all you're gonna do is bake it. I always say kind of like when you're making like a pumpkin pie or a cheesecake. When you wiggle it in the pan in the oven, you get a little bit of that jiggle still in the center. That's perfect because it will set up once you remove it from the oven. So that's just a couple quick tips to remember. I've got a 9 by 13 rectangle pan here that I've added parchment and given it a spray with some cooking spray. And now I'm gonna literally put my brownie batter in. You can cut this recipe in half and do it in a like 9 by 9 or an 8 by 8 square pan as well. I tend to make too much, but you never go wrong with having too much brownie. So I'm just making sure I get every last bit and try not to make a mess, which I normally do. Batter is really thick, but that's what you get for a nice thick fudgy brownie. Okay, that is good. So I'm going to just evenly disperse this around the pan. Perfect. Now I'm going to get my colorful cheesecake batter. And this is where you can literally just start pouring it in random spots around. I'm going to do a few different runs here. And just making sure the top is nice and covered. Add some of the green in here. Scrape it all out of each container. Add some more of my failed purple that I did. It is very 90s Technicolor inspired, I think. All right. That, I've got some of the orange left. And missed some spots over there. All right. So at this point, if you're wanting to get fancy, you could swirl this around. I kind of like the way it looks like this. So this is going to go into a 350 oven. All right, so it's been about 25 minutes and look at that. Everything is baked up nice. If you shake it, you can still get a little bit of a wobble in the middle. That's exactly what you want. So we're gonna let this cool now down to room temperature and even put them in the fridge overnight for best results. So those are my Halloween brownies. I hope you guys really like the recipe. Let me know and let me see kind of what creations and color combinations you do. Obviously my purple didn't turn out quite the way I wanted, but I still think it looks pretty good overall. These things just kind of happen. So until next time, everyone, I will see you later on the Noble Crumb. Bye.